long until we land?
About 10 minutes less than the last time you asked.
It just feels as if we've been flying for 2 weeks rather than 2 days.
Hey, I totally understand. This trip isn't exactly a hop, skip, and a jump.
You got that right. Feels more like a fly-a-thon.
We'll be there in just a few minutes.
That's what you said a few minutes ago. Africa, Ohio's pretty small, you know. You sure we didn't miss it?
Nope. NASA put a beacon up on a tower right smack dab in the middle of the place. It's been blinking at me ever since we left this morning. We're about 15 minutes away now.
Well, it's gonna be the longest 15 minutes of my life, that's for certain sure.
For certain sure. That sounds like something the professor would say.
Yeah, actually it is. I guess being around him all these years, I've picked up a few of his professorisms.
For certain sure sounds like a double positive. That would be like someone asking you how you're feeling, and you answer with, "I'm okay, fine."
Or if you really want to mess with their heads, try saying, "I'm okay, fine, that's for certain sure."
I swear in some ways your brain works just like mine.
Now there's a disturbing thought. How long until we land? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Oh, shut up!
Are we there yet? 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 Hey, is that smoke up ahead there?
It sure is. That's our destination.
Boy, things must be really bad here. Are you sure you'll be able to see well enough to land with all that smoke?
Don't need to. I can land with the use of instruments only.
Well, I sure hope those instruments are accurate, buddy. The last thing we need is to come down on top of somebody's house or barn, you know.
No problem. The computer in this thing's programmed in such a way that when we get 500 feet, it starts showing me every object 10 feet across or bigger. Then, as we get to 100 feet, it shows me every object 1 foot across. By the time we get to 25 feet, it can detect objects the size of your fist.
What about giant holes in the ground or the edge of a cliff?
Gee, I hadn't thought of that.
Oh, that's just peachy. So we fly 3/4 of the way across the country perfectly safe with not a care in the world, only to crash upon landing, all because of a 1.5 foot hole in the ground that your state-of-the-art computer can't detect?
Hey, Jerry, can I ask you a question?
What?
Your middle name wouldn't happen to be Gullible, would it?
Shut up and fly.
Darrell, this is a stroke of genius you had here. Setting this all up for the whole team to watch is an A#1 Jim Dandy idea.
Well, I just figured with as much as everyone seems to be interested and wanting to know how all this turns out, I thought this should make everybody feel like they're part of it.
It certainly will. I really think they'll enjoy hearing everything Jerry has to say and watching all the doings over there. This old big screen TV's been in storage for quite a while now. It'll be nice to put it to good use for once.
So when's all the rainmaking supposed to happen?
Well, if I have it figured right, probably day after tomorrow. Jerry and Michael are supposed to be arriving in Africa, Ohio between 4 and 5 p.m. today. Michael's going to drop Jerry off at one location where he'll stay for the night, and Michael will head for the airport about 15 minutes flying time north of Africa to meet with some of the NASA guys. Both of them will get what I'm sure will be a much-needed sleep. Then in the morning, Michael will start getting prepped and updated on his role in the HR-75 drops. Meanwhile, Jerry will get his first look at the area and see how bad off things are. Then he'll talk with a few of the locals, and once he's done with that, he'll call me and give me his opinion. Then I'll call NASA and tell them, and then NASA will make their decision.
Make a decision? You mean like decide whether they're even going to do it or not?
No, it's more of a decision on how much HR-75 they're going to use and several other details that aren't within my pay grade. But there's definitely no doubt they're going to do it.
I see. So what time are they doing the first drop?
7 a.m. Eastern Time Friday morning. That's 4 o'clock for us. It'll go on every hour on the hour for 12 hours straight. That gets us up to 4 p.m. our time. Then shortly after that, Jerry will begin his live report. So if we can get everybody in here by 4 o'clock sharp, that'll give us a chance to settle in and prepare to watch all the hoo-ha.
And who's supplying all the food?
Well, I thought we'd make it like an old-fashioned potluck style with everybody bringing something. I've already sent an email to everybody covering all the details. And I sent one to you too.
Okay, I'll check it out. Oh, and if you happen to need any help with any of that NASA stuff, you just let me know and I'll be more than happy to do whatever I can to make it all work.
Well, thank you, Darrell. I know you've got a background in electronics, but I'm a little out of touch as far as how much you know. So what all have you done?
Oh, I help design and build long-range communication systems. I don't mean to brag any, but I pretty much wrote the book on some of the repair techniques for these things.
Oh, really? Well, that's really great. But, NASA's communication system's pretty high-tech. It's on a whole different level than the stuff you're probably used to. You might have to study up quite a bit before you dive headfirst into one of their gizmos. They can be pretty complicated. And plus, if anything did go wrong with it, you'd have hardly any time at all to learn about it. So, you designed and built long-range communications, huh?
Uh-huh.
I never would have guessed. And just who exactly did you work for?
For NASA.
So where are we landing at?
Believe it or not, we're scheduled to set this thing down in the backyard of one Belle Adams. She's a local TV news reporter. She works for WTSM about 15 minutes west of Africa.
I'm not even going to ask about the chopper's security this time.
You wouldn't want to know.
Okay, go ahead and tell me.
We're going to chain it to a great big tree in her backyard.
A tree. That's a good one. That's even better than the bike rack line. Oh, that's rich. Oh, man, I'll have to remember that one. Okay, seriously. How are we really going to keep the chopper secure?
I'm serious, Jerry. We're chaining it to a tree.
Oh, and he says it with such a straight face. That's even better. Boy, I don't know how you do it. You don't even crack a smirk, let alone a smile. Chaining it to a tree. Oh, man, that's the best one yet.
Okay, that should do it. All secure.
I don't believe it. I just flat out don't believe it. You actually did it. You actually chained the chopper to a tree.
Yep.
What is this world coming to? What kind of pilot chains a gazillion-dollar high-tech chopper to a frickin' tree?
It's all in the mellow yellow manual, buddy. Chapter 5, paragraph 3. For security purposes, choppers may be chained to large, immovable objects in any location under the following circumstances. 1, if there is no hangar or other secure facility. 2, if the people of that location are decent, kind-hearted, and can be fully trusted. And 3, if it's only for a time duration no longer than 15 minutes.
Only 15 minutes? Oh.
That's right. Only 15 minutes. Just long enough for us to meet the lady coming up behind you.
Huh?
You two must be Michael and Jerry.
You'd be right about that.
Hi, I'm Annabelle Adams.
I'm Michael McGraw, and this is Jerry Hansen.
Hello there.
Jerry, Michael, it's good to finally meet both of you. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while now. Come on in out of the heat. It's at least a little cooler inside.
Thank you. That'll help a lot.
Did you have a good flight?
Yeah, but it was 2 very long days of flying. Not exactly something I'd want to do more than once in a lifetime.
That's totally understandable. Well, come on in. I know you can't stay too long, but at least come in out of the smoke and rest for a short time.
Thank you, Miss Adams.
Oh, stop with the Miss Adams. We're all very informal around here. Just call me Annabelle.
Well, okay then. Annabelle it is.
I'm so glad you're here. Things have gotten so bad. The creeks and rivers are all dried up and our well water's almost gone. At this point, everyone is in survival mode.
Well, that's why we're here, to try to bring an end to all this horridness.
Come on in and sit down.
I've got about 15 minutes, and then I have to leave for the airport. You'll be stuck with Jerry here for the rest of the night.
Hey, at least she'll be safe from your practical jokes.
Well, I better get going.
Oh, I wish we could talk more. I would love to do a feature story on you two.
Nah, there's not much to tell about me. I'm just a crazy pilot who'll do anything to fly. What about Jerry? He'd make a great story.
Well, I'll still be here for a while. I'd be glad to do it.
I need to get it to the airport and meet these guys from NASA. Thanks for the quick bite to eat.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Jerry, I probably won't be seeing you until this is all over.
All right. Just be sure to wave when you fly overhead, okay?
Sure thing. And I'll even drop a can of Mellow Yellow down so you know it's me.
Yeah, with the temperature as high as it is around here, I'm gonna need it.
Okay, buddy, I'll be back in a couple days.
Okay, you keep the wheels side down now, you hear?
Piece of cake. I'll see you after the rain.
Everybody says that life takes patience, but nobody wants to wait. Everybody says we need salvation, but nobody wants to be saved. The blue skies we wait on are gonna have to come after the rain. Gonna have to come after the rain. Gonna have to come after the Gonna have to come after the rain.
Oh, Emma, there you are. Taking a look at those bones, are you?
Yeah, I figured as long as we have some extra time before we hear from Jerry, I'd get started on them.
Discover anything interesting yet?
Well, not yet, other than what Captain Willis already said about them being tinted green. And boy was he right. It's definitely the strangest thing I've ever seen. Turn off the lights and I'll show you.
All right, let's have a look.
Check this out, Dad. Not only are they green, but they glow.
Well, I'll be. Would you look at that? Do you have any idea yet what's causing it?
Well, the first thing I did was look up what can turn bones green, and I came across tetracycline.
But tetracycline wasn't even discovered or used until the 40s. Old Jed here lived and died way before then.
And therein lies the mystery, my dear Watson. Time to do a wee bit of digging.
So what's your first step towards solving this here whodunit?
To visit the scene of the crime. Even after all these years, it might just be possible to find a clue or two lying around.
You think so, Shirley Locke?
Shirley Locke?
Sorry, it's the best I could come up with for a female version of Sherlock on the spur of the moment.
You're so weird, Dad.
The tree doesn't grow far from the apple, you know.
Yeah, I know, but wait, what?
Bigfoot Research Lab, Jonathan Dalton speaking. The Africa, Ohio rain-making team has arrived. Hey, Jerry. Good to hear from you. How you doing? Oh, we're doing okay. Landed about a half hour ago. Pretty exhausted from 2 days of flying, but not too bad.
How's Michael?
He's no worse for wear. He's already gone to the airport to meet with the NASA crew, and I'm here with Ohio's very own star news reporter, Belle Adams. We landed in her backyard.
Her backyard, eh? I knew Michael would have to land in some kind of remote location. The NASA guys wanted you to be in a spot where you could easily get to the forest on foot from wherever you were going to be staying each night. And staying with a news reporter is a pretty handy deal, too. My guess is she probably wants to do a story on this whole thing.
Yeah, she wanted to do a feature on Michael and me, but Michael had to leave pretty quickly, so I told her I'd be happy to do it.
Hey, that sounds great. You never know. Once her story gets out there, you just might be famous by the end of the week.
Does that mean I get a pay raise?
Well, we'll have to talk about that. But I just wanted to check in with you and make sure everything went well.
Yeah, everything went great. Had a good flight. Got fooled a couple times by the mellow yellow style of humor. But in general, it was a fun time.
Well, don't feel too bad, son. That humor of his has fooled everybody at one point or another. He's very good at it, so no one is immune.
Well, that's good to know. At least I'm not alone.
So tomorrow morning, you'll be heading out to get your first close-up look at the conditions there. And then when you're done with all that, go knock on a few doors and get some ideas of what the locals think and see what they know, and then give me a call back and tell me what you learned.
Well, if what we saw from the air is any indication, this place needs a lot more than just rain. There's a ton of forest land that's been totally destroyed, and from the air, it's just one big ash heap. And the heat here is almost unbearable. Let's see. Yeah, my phone here says it's 105 right now.
Is there any water anywhere?
From the impression I'm getting already, I think water around here is about as scarce as a donkey in the Kentucky Derby.
Well, it won't be very long now, and all that'll be over. If Operation Rain Dance works the way they say it will, everyone there will have plenty of water and then some real soon.
Well, I sure hope so, because this place is in bad shape.
Well, you get some good sleep. You give me a call tomorrow with your report.
Well, hopefully I can sleep. Even inside, it still feels like it's in the 80s. I feel like a dried-out turkey in the oven. Well done and still cooking.
Well, do the best you can. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, Jerry.
So, you're from California?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll bet there's a lot of grassman activity out there.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. At least in Northern California. There aren't too many sightings around Los Angeles, you know.
No, I don't suppose there are.
But we call them Bigfoot or Sasquatch. That's the name the Native Americans gave them a long time ago.
Yeah, I've heard those names before. Hey, do you mind if I record our talk? It's so much better than taking notes, and it keeps my reporting so much more accurate.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
It's just so much easier to play back a recording and hear it all exactly as it was said, rather than handwritten notes that I might or might not be able to read later.
I don't have a problem with it at all. I have nothing incriminating to say.
Well, I certainly hope not. Okay, it's running. So, to get started here, what exactly was it that, as they say, sent you down the trail? What was it that sparked your interest in the Grassmen, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call them, and set you on a path toward researching them?
One Professor Jonathan G. Dalton, friend, mentor, and all-around father figure of my childhood. He's the one I was just on the phone with. He took me to my very first Bigfoot movie called Sasquatch when I was about 8 years old. That's all it took. I was hooked for life. And just like the professor did when he was young, I started collecting everything I could about it. I read every book, magazine, and news article that I could get my hands on. There was just something about the whole mystery aspect of them that intrigued me. I would see pictures of footprints in a book, and something inside of me just had to know what kind of creature made those prints. Or the thing that really got my attention was the Patterson-Gimlin film. I'll tell you that thing. When I saw that, it gave me goosebumps up one side and down the other. Still does, even now. I just couldn't get enough of watching it.
Okay, moving forward, what was it that brought you to work for Professor Dalton?
That's kind of an odd thing. I didn't start working for him in the traditional sense. There was no application, no job interview, no set starting date, none of that. Like I said earlier, the professor was in my life from way back when I was very young. You see, my dad died in a house fire when I was 6. And that's when he started kind of filling in and taking over and being the father figure in my life. So over the years, as I grew, just having him around, hearing him talk about Bigfoot, seeing the pictures, watching the videos, all of that was just like a magnet to me. Then when I was old enough, he invited me down to see his laboratory. Well, that was insanely fascinating to me. As time went on, he started giving me odd jobs to do, running errands, sweeping floors, whatever. Little by little, he started giving me more and more responsibility until one day he promoted me to team leader. And that's pretty much the whole story.
That is so fascinating. The viewers are going to love this. So what about now? What exactly is the purpose of you being here today?
Well, originally the professor was supposed to be here, but due to an unexpected change in circumstances that I'm yet to fully understand, I got sent in his place. But anyway, Michael and I are here to check out how bad things are, and then a team from NASA are going to do what I refer to as cloud seeding on steroids. And hopefully, through that process, bring an end to the drought. In fact, one of the jobs that I have while I'm here is to talk to some of the local people and get an idea of how they're all being affected by the drought, the fires, the lack of water, all of that. So, if you don't mind, I'd kind of like to turn the tables on you a little bit here and ask you a few things, if that's okay.
Why, certainly.
All right. To start off, obviously there's no rain, you're low on water, and the ramifications of all of that go without saying. But one of the things I learned before I came here was the reason Africa was chosen for this project. I posed a question to Michael on the flight over here. There are other places with a lot larger population that are suffering from this drought just as much, so why Africa? And his answer he gave to me was, it's because of the relationship between the grassman and the people of this community. From what I'm learning, all of you seem to have a connection with the grassman unlike any other people I know of. Talk to me a little about all that.
Well, for me personally, that connection started when I was a child. You see, I grew up here. In fact, just yesterday I did a report on how these woods that have been burning were all part of my childhood.
I saw that last night. When we were in a motel, I flipped on the TV just to get a quick look at some of the news and happened to hit on that report of yours. I was very impressed with how you publicly confessed on air that you know the grassman is real. That took a lot of guts to do that.
Well, thank you. Unfortunately, not all our viewers are as impressed as you are about it. In fact, I may have very well jeopardized my job saying all that.
Oh, I hope not.
But anyway, my earliest memories of the grassmen go all the way back to when I was about 5 years old. My parents would take me for walks in the woods, and as we were walking, we would come across one of them just sitting on a tree stump eating berries, or sitting on a fallen tree down by the river eating a fish they had caught, and somehow they were never aggressive with us. It was like, when we walked by, to them, we were no more of a threat than a bird flying by. It was as if we were just a built-in part of their natural surroundings.
Wow, that is just so... I can't even begin to tell you how that makes me feel. That is so cool.
As I got older, and my parents allowed me to go out more on my own, I would start seeing them on a more regular basis. They would be in certain places at the same time of day. They're very much creatures of habit, and they have routines just like we do. They walk the same trails every day, eat at the same places, and seeing them each day as I would go out was like seeing a friend. As I would walk by them, they would look up at me, make a low grunt sound, and then go back to what they were doing.
Almost as if they were saying hello.
Yeah, exactly. After a while, I started saying good morning or good afternoon to them, and then the gifting started back and forth. I would leave maybe a piece of costume jewelry on a stump for them, and the next day it would be gone, and a shell or some colorful stone would be in its place. Other times we exchanged food. It didn't take very long for me to discover that they love peanut butter. I'd leave a paper plate with maybe a cup of peanut butter on it, and the next day, sure enough, the plate and peanut butter were gone. And this time, there was a good-sized chunk of deer meat in its place.
Yeah, we did the same thing at our lab. The edge of the woods are just about 100 feet out the back door of the lab, and there's a Sasquatch who lives out there, and I'm pretty sure he has a family, too. Anyway, we started putting out steaks and burgers and hot dogs on a grill right under the window. And we had a video camera set up as well so we could watch them as they stand at the window. Not only that, we also set up a TV with a DVD on a loop showing a movie. We figured if we could capture their attention with that, it would give us a better chance to watch them and get to know their habits and that kind of thing. But in the very first attempt that we did, next morning we found a huge salmon on the grill.
That's a good thing. That means they're beginning to trust you. Jerry, I can tell just from listening to you that you have a very good heart. You're a very peaceful man who only wants to learn about them and know them, and they can sense that about you, and they respect that quality in you. And from the little you've told me about your professor, I get the impression that he's the same way. This is why they gave you a gift in return. You see, it's the people who are out to do them harm that they turn against and show hostility towards. But if you show true peace towards them and offer a genuine friendship to them, and you have no ill will against them, they'll actually look forward to you visiting them.
Oh, I want that so bad. I would love to meet one and learn everything I can about them. I almost wouldn't mind if I'd get captured by one just so I could spend time with them.
Well, if it weren't for the fires and the fact that so many of them have gone, I could just about have arranged that for you.
Well, that may prove to be a problem if it were to happen here. If it's going to happen at all, I'd much rather have it happen a lot closer to home.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So what about some of the other residents around here? Are other people as close to them as you are?
Some more than others, but we're all close to them in some form or fashion. Everybody feeds them. In fact, we've even developed a system now. Some of our residents are elderly and aren't as active as they once were, and they can't go out into the woods like they used to. But they still want to participate in feeding them, so they've started leaving food out on their porch. The grassman smells it from the woods, and they come out, follow the scent, and when they get to the right house, they come right up onto the porch, and voila, instant breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
The grassman's own personal version of takeout food. How cool is that?
And the best part is when we all get involved and everyone leaves something on their porch.
Sounds like a regular smorgasbord.
Yep, and we even plan it all out so no two people leave the same food.
Oh, of course not. You wouldn't want them to get bored now. How often do you guys do this anyway?
About twice a month. It started out just every once in a while, but then we decided to make it more regular so they could depend on it. But now they're gone and it's all over.
I'm sorry. That's so sad.
Yeah, it is. They've been a part of my life, basically all my life. Having them here was like having family.
Oh. Well, hello there. How are you?
A word of warning.
A word of warning?
Beware of the lone man in the ashes who tells you to make it rain. Beware, 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 beware.
Annabelle? Annabelle? Where could she be? Wait, what's this paper? Oh, it's a note. Jerry, had to go to work early. Sorry I couldn't see you off. Breakfast is in the fridge. Just heat it and eat it. I'll see you tonight after 5. I hope you have a productive day. And remember, things aren't always as they seem. Be careful out there. Annabelle. Things aren't always as they seem. Interesting. Well, okay. Time for breakfast. God, would you look at this place? I've never seen anything so barren. No stumps, no burned out logs, no branches, no leftover nothing. Just acres and acres of ashes as far as the eye can see. It's like the surface of the moon. I've never seen such total devastation. No sign of life anywhere. Wait, what's that? Am I seeing things, or is that a person coming toward me? Doesn't look like a mirage, is it? He must be real. Maybe he knows where to find some water. Hey, can you help me? I'm looking for water.
Yeah, you and everybody else. There's no water for miles. Every creek, every river, they're all gone. And who might you be?
I'm Jerry Hansen.
What are you doing out here in this godforsaken hellhole?
I'm part of a survey team checking to see how bad things are around here.
Oh, things are pretty bad, all right. Just take a look around. There ain't so much as a stick left behind after what happened here. People have been dying. The forest is nothing but ashes. And all the grassmen have either died or run off. It's like this place was hit by some sort of apocalypse. People are getting desperate.
Yeah, I bet they are.
But you look like you're pretty well-to-do. Not like the rest of us around these parts. Oh, you look like you're doing just fine, ain't you?
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, I think you're holding out on me. You either know something or you got something. It ain't telling.
I'm not holding back anything from you. Scout's honor.
Scout's honor my behind. I think you're lying through those pearly whites of yours. I bet you know how to end this drought now, don't you? Yep. I'll bet you that's what it is. You know, I've heard about those people with special powers before. Some of them can make fire. Some can make things disappear. And some can make it rain. You're one of them, ain't you?
No, I'm not.
Well, I happen to think you're still lying. Maybe it'll just take a little incentive to get the truth out of you. Neat? A little incentive. Like I say, people are getting desperate. Now, make it rain! Or I will kill you.
Hey, I'm telling you, I don't know how. I don't have that kind of power. I'm just a young guy. I don't have that kind of experience.
Young guy? Wait just a minute. How old are you?
27.
27. Well, you may be right about that. Come to think of it, you do look pretty young to possess the power of the gods. It would take someone over twice your age with a lot more experience to make it rain. But you're just not old enough. You're just a young punk. Maybe I did act a bit hasty. You're just lucky you're not over 60. Or you'd be a dead man.
Oh, hey, let me get the door for you. There you go. Age before beauty.
Watch it, buddy. I'll get the door for you this time.
Thank you.
Youth and exuberance before age and experience.
Youth and Huh?
Gotcha.
Oh, boy. You're not as young as you used to be, so I just figured you might...
Hey, what'd you say? You're gonna have to speak a little louder, Sonny. I'm kinda deaf because I'm so old.
But I was just...
Before we head out of town, I need to stop off at the pharmacy to pick up my heart meds. Wouldn't want an old man to have a heart attack out there now, would you?
Wouldn't want to have
While I'm there, I better pick up some Bengay for these old muscles of mine.
Yeah, but I just...
Oh, and a blanket too, just in case I get tired while we're hiking. You just never know when someone my age might need to take a nap.
Look, all I meant was...
Oh, and a set of crutches too. Gotta have the crutches. That's pretty rough country out there, you know. You just never know when some ancient, decrepit old geezer like myself might take a fall and sprain an ankle or break a bone.
But I didn't
Just a few necessities for someone my age.
Are you sure you can handle that kind of weight? I mean, you're a little up in years for flipping cars. Maybe you ought to let Rick and I flip it ourselves while you...
While I what? Lean on my walker and watch? One more crack about my age and I'll be flipping you.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Is this where they keep all the old people who refuse to die in tunnel explosions? Doctor, excuse me while I prepare to punch this young man square in the nose.
Like you said, he's a tough old bird. He's in such good shape, the few injuries he did have are healing nearly 3 times as fast as other people his age.
My age?
I'll just leave the two of you alone now.
That's right. Run away from the old man before he runs you over with his walker.
Oh, it's on now. Let the insult wars begin.
You sure you can handle me? After all, I have over 30 years more experience at this than you do.
What about a date?
Well, there aren't too many women around here that are my age.
I can't imagine you with anybody anyway.
And just what do you mean by that?
Oh, nothing. I was just...
Look, boy, just because there's snow on my roof don't mean there ain't no fire in the furnace.
Okay. Sheesh. So sensitive, aren't we? When I was 6, you were just the old guy next door.
Old guy, huh? Now get out of here before you see an old man cry. Old guy.
Hey, did you hear me, punk? I said get out of here.
Oh my god. Oh. Now I really understand why I had to come here. Oh, God. If that had been Dad instead of me, he would have been... Oh, my God.
You can't go on that trip to Ohio, Dad. You just can't. Something terrible is gonna happen. It's a premonition. I know it. I've had dreams before about other people, and they've all come true. Please don't go. Please. I don't want to lose you.
I was supposed to fly to Africa, Ohio this morning, but there's been a change of plans. I'm not going.
Okay, so what's the new plan?
You're going.
I'm going?
Yep.
Why me?
Because you're my right-hand man.
I love you, son. I love you too.